These are my content: introduction, definition, chronology, theories, etiology, surgical anatomy of third molar, indication, contraindication, mandibular third molar classification, pre-assessment, various incision, removal of tooth, complication, mandibular canine, and these are the less important but we have to cover, and the references. Introduction, as I told, it's very important topic for general dentist practice. It is a most basic component of oral and maxillofacial surgery. Although the majority of impacted teeth are the third molar and usually the mandibular third molar. Etymology, they are generally thought to be called wisdom tooth because they appeared so late, much later than the other teeth. When at a age comes, people or may think that it comes when a child become a wiser. So in a Latin, they probably translate it into Latin des septicia, and it's come between the age of 17 to 15 years, and this age is called age of wisdom. There are few important terms which we know before we are understanding the impacted tooth. Impacted tooth is a tooth which is completely or partially unerupted and is positioned against another tooth, bone and soft tissue, so that its further eruption is unlike described according to the anatomical position. Malpose tooth, it is a tooth unerupted or erupted which is abnormal position in the maxilla or mandible. Unerupted tooth which don't come into the oral cavity and perforate the oral mucosa. Ankylosed tooth, it is a difference we can see there, that here the PDL is broken and the tooth is attached to the bone by this dentium, cementum, and here no breakage of the PDL. So this kind of tooth is called ankylosed tooth. Partially erupted, you can see that there are the partial eruption before and after. So failed to erupt in a normal position function but across the bone barrier. It crosses the bone barrier but not fully erupted. Ectopic itself defined as an unusual position. So any tooth which is unusual position in the oral cavity, in face, orbital region, nose, it's called ectopic or displaced teeth. Definition of impaction, Archer has given a very standard definition: tooth which is a completely or partially unerupted beyond its chronological age and its position against another tooth, bone or soft tissue, so that further eruption is not possible. Eruption is not possible is known as impaction. Then Anderson and Fonseca and Peterson has given a same almost definition. Impaction is defined as a cessation of eruption of a tooth caused by a clinically or radiographically detectable physical barrier in eruption path or by ectopic position of the tooth. Schaeffer has also given impacted tooth are those prevent from erupting from some physical barrier in a eruption path. These are the definitions. Then chronology, when the tooth jump form is 9-year age, cusp mineralization to age, that is 11-year age, and then crown formation at the age of 14, then crown fuse and form by the 50% around the 16, and 17 to 18 it comes in, it try to erupt in oral cavity around 17 to 25-year age. So it formed in 25-year age. Theories according to the Durbach: phylogenetic theories, Mendelian theories, endocrinal theory, orthodontic, skeleton and anthropological theories. Phylogenetic theories, it says that nature eliminates itself vestigial organ. Then Mendelian, that as individuals receive a small jaw from one parent to other, next generation, then jaw becomes smaller and there is insufficient space, so impaction occurs. Then endocrine, due to the lack of functional of anterior lobe of pituitary gland, formation of mandible become less. jaw becomes small, so tooth unlikely to be erupt, so that's why. Then orthodontic theory, that constrict and narrow dental arches of early mouth breather affect the position and alignment of tooth. That if the arch is small, then we are unable, that tooth is unable to come into the oral cavity. Then skeletal theory, inadequate growth of jaw due to improper position of the function matrix in which it is enclosed lead to lack of space for eruption of the third ear. That anthropological theories, course of evolution, increasing cranial capacity occur at a cost of decrease in the size. Then etiology, these two factors are very important, that is a local cause and systematic cause. Then local cause, obstruction for eruption, any irregularity in the tooth and tooth bud, adjacent tooth, density of overlying and surrounding bone, lack of space in the dental arch, supernumerary tooth or crowding, ankylosis of primary or permanent tooth, over retention of deciduous tooth, deceleration of roots, that is called trauma or habit, tongue, finger, etc. parenthesis. Etiological factors are prenatal cause, hereditary, postnatal causes, these are the causes, and endocrinal disorders, thyroid, parathyroid, pituitary and all. According to the Archer, previously all are thinking that maxillary third molar are most common, but these days mandibular third molar are the most important, most occur in oral cavity. Then indication, what are the indication? Pericoronitis, caries, periapical pathogens, focus on infection, anterior crowding, retention or resorption of second molar, pathological resorption, increased risk of angle fracture, cyst and facial injury. Other causes are periodontal consideration, orthodontic consideration, then prosthodontic involvement of fracture line. When the tooth comes in fracture line, then we have to remove retention of second molar like this, orthodontic surgery and prophylactic removal. These are the important clinical pictures. Here we have caries, pericoronitis, then pathological resorption is there, periapical pathogens, formation of cyst, then we have to remove this impacted tooth. Contraindication, deeply embedded or asymptomatic tooth we don't want to remove because it's a symptomless. Then poor systemic condition of a patient, any diabetic or some cardiac issue or some like that. Then poor prognosis of second molar, if second molar is not there, then third molar will be used as a Pontic and we can give a bridge over there. In case it can serve as abutment tooth, just like extreme edges, we don't require to remove. And some future status of second molar is compromised and like that, then we don't want to remove the third molar. Then probably excess damage of adjacent like nerve and all. Then these are the important basic structure which we have to know about the surgical anatomy. We will discuss later. Few points are there. Then relation with the lingual nerve, long buccal nerve and inferior nerve. While removing these three important structures can be damaged, so we have to idea about these all nerves: buccal, long buccal, inferior and lingual nerve. Then classification, these are the classification according to the impacted tooth, where thickness of the bone, inferior and molar canal, second molar relation, angulation and depth of the impaction. Then these are the first one is a mesoangular, second one is a distoangular. It's given by the Winter according to the angulation from the second molar to third molar, mesoangular, distoangular, how, then vertical, horizontal, bucco, inversion and inverted. Then these are the Winters given the line of converging, then it's a mesio, diverging, disto and parallel, then the vertical. Then Pell & George classification, class 1 A, B. You can see the level of the impacted tooth with bone and ramus of the mandible and second molar based on the space available distal to second molar. Then Pell & George classification, position A, it's based on the occlusal plane of impacted tooth of that of second molar. Then position A, B and C. C is very difficult to remove. Killie and Kay classification, it's just like a position angular, just like a Winters classification, state of eruption, erupted, partially erupted and unerupted, or number of fuse, multiple, favorable, unfavorable, like this. Okay, based on the eruption, erupted, partially erupted or unerupted. You can see this is erupted, okay, this is unerupted, this is partially erupted. Based on the fuse roots like this, and two roots and multiple roots are difficult to remove based on the type of the overlying tissue, soft tissue, partial bony and complete bony impaction. Preoperative assessment, it's very important. Just like a GPS in our vehicle, we have to assess our surgery, how we have to go further this. Then history, clinical evaluation and radiographic evaluation are important. History, age, whether a young patient is there, then we have to remove. In older patient, we don't require to remove. General condition, medical condition like BP, sugar, some thyroid or some other systemic condition is there, then we don't want to remove that. First we have to address those medical condition like epileptic patient is there, or some cardiac, or some hemophilic patient, or some BP, like. Then clinical examination, whether his mouth opening is there or not. Then absence of inflammatory condition, determination of mobility characteristic of lip size and contour of tongue, whether it's come or not in surgery, appearance of soft tissue over adjacent tooth, radiographic evaluation. So these important position and type of tooth, whether it's a mesio, distal, like this, relation to adjacent tooth, whether some important structure is hindering or not, whether we will damage or not, size and shape of the impacted tooth, it's a cylindrical, bulky, like that, depth, whether it's on at a occlusal plane or not. So we have to address these points first. Density and relation of impacted to various anatomical structure. Radiographic, intraoral, these are the radiographic evaluation. Intraoral, IOPA we can do. Bite wing are the less important, but periapical IOPA is more important with root, in which we can see the root. Occlusal plane, it's okay. Then extraoral, these are the CT scan, OPG and lateral oblique, not lateral oblique. OPG and CT scan are the most important X-rays for these kind of cases. Okay, and some vital tissues are involved, or some vital structures are involved, like mandibular canal and all. Then we will go for the CBCT for exact position of that tooth. Periapical radiograph according to this. Then these are by the IOPA we can address these points: the whole third molar, investing bone, anterior border, relation to anterior border of ramus, inferior alveolar canal and adjacent second molar. These are the relationship with inferior alveolar nerve of the root. Like first is the diversion of the canal, second is the darkening of root, interruption of white line of the canal, then dark and bifidate apex of one, then narrowing of the canal, narrowing of the root and deflected root. So we have to think about all these before we attempt any surgical procedure for this. Then this is the most important, because while we are doing the impaction surgery, we should know the relationship of a lingual nerve to mandibular third. Then in lingual cortex, it is a minimum distance we have to take care, and for buccal 3.45 mm. So this is the most important. If we go here, then we can puncture the lingual and paresthesia can occur. So we have to take care of this. And then these are the canal relations. Then these are the OPG. Here we can see the position of that impaction. Okay. And these are the Winters classification. These are the Winters classification according and role of CBCT in the maxillary mandibular third molar we can see here, and these are the difficulty index by which we can assess whether it's a difficult case or simple case. So Phelan-Georgi difficulty index, Worldine, Pedersen, and modified Patterson and Warfare and indexing pattern are important for our ease of surgery. This one score for mesoangular, for depth, horizontal 2, vertical 3, disto 4, level A 1, level B 2, C 3, class 1 1, class 2 2 and 3. If a impaction is mesoangular and level B and class 2, then 2 to 4 or 1 5. So 5 is the answer. Then it will be a moderately